For today's lesson, we're going to look at SOL 8.4, multi-step equations, and we're going to look at special cases. So in previous lessons, we've looked at solving multi-step equations by using the distributive property and or combining like terms. And we've also looked at it using the distributive property and or combining like terms with variables on both sides as well. Now that we've reviewed going over using the distributive property, combining like terms, and using variables on both sides. And now we're going to focus on our solutions. So with our equations that we've been working with, we've come up with one solution where x is equal to a number, or a is equal to a number, or some variable is equal to a number. Now we're going to look at those special cases where we may possibly have one solution, where your variable is equal to a number, where we have no solution, where we have two numbers on the equal side that don't equal each other, or infinite number of solutions, meaning no matter what number we put into the equation, it is going to be a solution. So for SOL 8.4, the student will solve multi-step linear equations algebraically in one variable. For your I can statement, I can determine whether a linear equation in one variable has one, an infinite number, or no solution. All right, so there are three types of solutions, and as we get into more of equations, like systems of equations, we're also going to use this as well. So you have one solution, for example, where x is equal to a number. So for example, x equals 1, z equals 3.5. No solution, or x is not equal to that number. So we have 2 is equal to x. We know that 2 is equal to 8. We know that 2 cannot equal 8. And we have negative 9 is not equal to 81 because we know negative 9 is not equal to 81. We also have infinite number of solutions. So infinite number of solutions basically means that x is equal to x, or 2 is equal to 2, or 10w is equal to 10w, meaning that no matter what we plug into that equation, it is going to be a solution. All right, our steps. We're going to distribute if necessary, combine like terms on either side if necessary. So remember, distributing and combining like terms, you're looking at the equation separately, the left side and the right side. Then you're going to move the variable to one side. It doesn't matter whether you move it to the left or move it to the right as long as you use the proper inverse operations. And then you're going to solve. So let's take a look at one solution. All right. So here, the final answer will result in the form x equals a. The variable will equal something. Only one real number can make this equation true. So that's what we mean by one solution. So for example, we have 2 times x minus 3 plus 9 equals 5 plus x minus 1. All right, so now we're going to use the distributive property. Looking at the left side, I need to distribute. So I have 2x minus 6 plus 9 is equal to 5 plus x minus 1. Still looking at the left side, I have like terms. So I have a constant of negative 6 and a constant of 9. Combining those together, I get 3. On the right side, I have 5 plus x minus 1. So I have a constant of 5 and a constant of negative 1. So I have 4 plus x. So now that I've distributed, combined like terms, now I'm going to move the variable to one side. It doesn't matter whether you move the 2x to the right side or move the 2x to the left, or the x to the left side. So in this situation, I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Again, moving that variable to one side of my equal sign, and I get x plus 3 is equal to 4. I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. Again, you see I'm using inverse operations. And I get that x is equal to 1. So in this case, we have one solution. All right, so these are the equations that we've been working on, whether we've had the variable w or v or z, we have one solution here. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is when we have no solution. So that's a equals b, meaning that we have two things on the equal sign that don't equal each other. So the final answer will result in the form a equals b, where a is a different number than b. In this case, there is no possible answer for this equation, so we will solve equations that will have no solution. So for example, we have 5x plus 3 minus 3x is equal to 2 times x plus 3 minus 5. So again, we're following those same steps of distributing on either side, combining like terms on either side, moving the variable to one side, and solving. All right, so looking at the left side, I have 5x plus 3 minus 3x. So I have variable terms. So I have 5x minus 3, which gives me 2x plus 3. On the left side, I'm going to distribute. So I get 2x plus 6 minus 5. My 2x plus 3 is going to stay the same because we have a variable term and a constant. But on my right side, I have 6 minus 5, which is going to give me 1. So I have 2x plus 1. Since I moved the variable to the left side in the previous example, I'm going to move the variable to the right side. All right, my 2x's cancel, so I get 3 here. My 2x's cancel, I get 1 there. So we get that 3 is equal to 1. We know that 3 is not equal to 1, so this is no solution. So no matter what number we put in, there is no solution for this equation. All right. And the last type of solution is infinite. All right, so an infinite number of solutions. The final answer will result in the form a equals a. The same number will be on both sides of the equal sign. Any real number can make the equation true. All right, so we have 2 times x plus 10 minus 17 is equal to 5 plus 2x minus 2. All right, so again, we're going to distribute. So I have 2x plus 20 minus 17 is equal to 5 plus 2x minus 20. I see that on both sides I have to combine like terms. So my 2x is going to stay the same. 20 minus 17 is a positive 3. Then on my right side, I have 5 minus 2. So that leaves me with 2x plus 3. Looking at this step here, what do you notice? We notice that we have 2x plus 3 on the left. We have 2x plus 3 on the right. All right? Here's your point where you could stop and say, okay, this is infinite number of solutions because I have the same thing. But say, for instance, that you're working and you just forget, we can definitely move the variable to one side. So I can subtract 2x from both sides. I'll see that my 2x's cancel. And I have 3 equals 3. That means no matter what number we put into this equation, it is a solution. All right, now it's time for you to test your knowledge. So what I want you to do is draw lines to match each linear equation to its correct number of solutions. How can you tell when an equation has no solution or many solutions? All right, welcome back. So let's double check your work. All right, so we have 5 times 4, which gives me 20. 5 times a negative x, which gives me negative 5x. And that is equal to negative 5x plus 20. All right, so if I rearrange my left side, I have 5x plus 20 is equal to a negative 5x plus 20. And we notice here that we have the same thing on both sides. We can definitely go ahead and continue solving. And we get 20 equals 20, which tells me that I have infinitely many solutions. All right, let's look at the next example. I'm going to distribute that negative 5. So I have negative 20 plus 5x is equal to negative 5x plus 20. I'm going to add 5x to both sides. I get negative 20 plus 10x is equal to 20. I'm going to add 20 to both sides. I I get 10x is equal to 40. Divide by 10 on both sides, and I get x is equal to 4. All right, so that's going to give me one solution. And for the last one, I have 5 times 5, which is 25, minus 5x equals negative 5x plus 20. Going to add 5x to both sides. Up, my 5x's are going to cancel, so I have 25 is equal to 20, which we know that 25 cannot equal 20 or does not equal 20. Therefore, we have no solution. All right, now I want you to tell me two things. Number one is, how can you tell when an equation has no solution or many solutions? Then after that, I want you to summarize what you've learned from this lesson.